Thank you to Clidio for sponsoring this video. Hello everyone, my name is Redlens Jack and welcome back to another One Piece analysis video. Today we're going to be talking about a very specific topic. We're going to be talking about Maurice Chandelier and the quote-unquote Maurice problem. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, hit that bell so you get notifications every single time Redlens Jack uploads a new video talking about his favorite and your favorite show, BC's Productions One Piece. Now, what is the Maurice problem? Well, first things first, who is Maurice? Maurice Chandelier is the musician of the Fish Eye Pirates in the hit television show One Piece. He is the wielder of the White Sloth of the the Seven Sin Pirates, swordsman of the Roger Pirates. Sorry, it's a very confusing title, but anyway. Then he gets new power-ups, he gets a new ability, he gets a bunch of new stuff, but at the end of the day, there's always a problem with Maurice. Now, the problem is that BC doesn't flesh out Maurice enough. Maurice has become the official background character of One Piece. Now, or the Fish Eye Pirates in general. The official background character of the Fish Eye Pirates. Now, that's just, I'm basically, right now, I'm talking as a voice of the One Piece community as a whole. Me personally, I enjoy Maurice. I'll talk near the end about why the Maurice problem and why quote-unquote Maurice, the BC Productions' least favorite fisheye. I'll be talking about that more at the end, about why I think those titles are very specific and not necessarily true. But in general, I will acknowledge that there is a problem with Maurice Chandelier. Now, let's start from the first time we see him. We see Maurice on Newgate in Newgate City. The island of the city unknown, but the city is Newgate City. And we go and we have a beautiful arc about family. The theme of the arc is family. We go there, we see it's Zack, Barry, Shem, Desmond, and at the time Randy, now Jester. They go to the island and the main theme is family. We go there and we find Morgan Chandelier, a former, at the time we know he's just a famous pirate, but we know now he's one of the famous swordsmen of the Roger Pirates. And we go there and we find out he has 3 kids. He has Maverick, Maurice, Morgan, and Matthew, I believe, are the four sons. And we find out that Maverick works for Vincenzo, sorry, I hit my stand. Works for Vincenzo, the noble that's in charge of Newgate City. Then after we go there, we go to this underground nightclub called Nightlife, and we find Maurice, a musician there, and he's putting on a concert, and they watch, and then they find out that there's this secret superhero that watches over the city and protects the people, while Newgate's governor, Vincenzo, does nothing. He's a noble, and this is really, you see the theme in One Piece with nobles being the problem. The first one person we find, Klaus, on Dandy Cone with Barry, was a noble. We find in, let's see, there are nobles that are taking over Shem's Island. There's no nobles on Desmond's Island. But then you go to Randy, and it's governed by a king. We go even further after that with Chamberlain, and how there's a noble, or he's not a noble, but like he works for that all in candidate Norman, and that's a big theme in early One Piece. But anyway, I'm getting off track. Maurice. Then they find Maurice. They take Maurice back to the father, where they ask for Maurice's help, and they decide to they decide to go to the banquet that Vincenzo's having. We find out Maverick is, evil, or not evil, but he's working for Vincenzo, and he's a very evil man. Fights happen. And this is where we get our first big Maurice moment, where we have Maurice stand up to Zack, which we've never really seen anything of to that degree. We've never seen any of the fisheye stand up to Zack, other than like Desmond, but that was before he really was a fisheye. Like he was an enemy, and then he jumped straight to fisheye. Maurice was in the middle, but he still stands up to Zack, even though Zack's helping. But in the Zack character flaw, not a character flaw that BC made, a character flaw that Zack as a character has, his fault, which is that he doesn't know how to walk away from a fight, which may be a part of his development going into the post time skip, but that's again for another video. That's for part 2, which comes out soon, of the fisheye post time skip analysis. So then Maurice hits Zack, takes his dad, which has been shot by Vincenzo, and leaves, or by Maverick, and leaves. And then after that, we go back to the Chandelier home, and Maurice takes his father's sword, and they go to actually Maverick has his father's sword. They go back to the place, and Maurice and the fisheyes defeat the captain of the Navy. First time we see the Navy is on Newgate, and they defeat Maverick, the brother, and they defeat the noble Vincenzo. And before that, Maurice does the infamous scene where Zack takes the punches for his crew, and then Maurice goes on the ship. He leaves his family, and that is probably the last amazing moment we get from Maurice. Then we go to Chamberlain, and Maurice, you really can't really remember what Maurice did in Chamberlain. He was a part of the Desmond Shem trio that went to the top right of the Windy Peaks in Chamberlain, and they throw the torches out and say their dream, but you don't really remember. You remember Desmond going and fighting the baby, and then going on to get hit by King. You remember Shem fixing up the house, and Shem had a big part in that, but you don't really remember Maurice. He's always in like a trio normally, and he's the one that's not remembered. He had his one big moment in Chamberlain where he fought Jester, which was realistically, that was probably his last big moment. It wasn't even a big moment though. His only real massive moment was on his own respective island. But then you go and you watch Chamberlain, he has this one moment with Jester, and then that's kind of it, you know? And even at that, once he beats Jester, Zack steps in and takes the big motivational speech, which is respected or is understood because he's the captain, but still, that was Maurice fought Jester 3 against 1, even though Shem and Zack were kind of preoccupied, but that was it. And then Maurice doesn't really have a one-on-one fight, because then Zack goes phase 2 and takes out all of the henchmen. And the henchmen are also another big problem with One Piece, because the henchmen they're not very memorable. You think henchmen from Chamberlain, barely memorable. Henchmen from Anastar, not even memorable. Even the quote-unquote henchmen from Enies Lobby are the only memorable henchmen. They're not even henchmen. They're just all a SKU 84. Then Mantine, there's barely any henchmen. Barely any psych. So hopefully that's another thing that would be better in post-time skip. But again, for Maurice specifically, that's all he does in Chamberlain. Then you go to Anastar, and Maurice's only memorable moment, I couldn't tell you what Maurice does at Anastar, other than when he takes the bottle from Jester, the anti-sea stone, and breaks Desmond and Zack out of the Emerald Castle, where Arthur left him. But that's all he does. And then I couldn't tell you what else Maurice does. And it's even arguable that moment isn't memorable. Then that's it for Maurice and Anastar. Next you go to Mantine. Maurice has somewhat of a part there. He lands, and then he's with Zack, but you don't really remember that Maurice is there. You just remember that Zack's there. And then you after Zack gets caught in the ice. No, not even. Then there's the Oswald Oswald thing where you expect something huge to come out of it, where you find out Oswald can also control Maurice's sword, and you find out that Oswald has a connection with Maurice through Oswald's dad being the one that made the 7 swords, and Maurice's dad being one of the wielders of those swords, but nothing comes of that. It's a one-moment thing that just disappears afterwards. Then Maurice still does nothing for the arc. Maurice, after watching Zack, Oswald, and Kovos, the 3 MVPs of the arc, other than Azul and John McDowell, you get nothing. They disappear, Maurice sees them, and then Maurice leaves, goes to the human side and tries to tell people that what's happening. By the time he gets there, the event's already started. Maurice didn't even accomplish that. Maurice goes to Enies Lobby, and we get another good Maurice moment with the big fight against Chevron Altair. But like, when you think about that, you think Shem was able to go full power and go 1v1 against him for a tiny bit, and then he goes to forgive me, I lost my train of thought. Shem does that, and then Zack, does his 1v1 with Chevron eventually. Then Desmond has his amazing moment against Enzo when he pulls out the Dragon Scroll, or the Legend Scroll, Jade Emperor. Barry has his amazing, probably the best fight of the arc against Ace. Oswald is a part of the entire thing. Shem is captured along with Oswald. And Maurice is kind of just like Jester has his part with Zeno. And Jester has his big moment where he goes and gets he has the black smoke. And Maurice goes into one of the best power-ups, I won't lie. One of the best power-ups, Boogie, as you see on the screen, Boogeyman Electric Boogaloo. But then he gets actually some really good hits off against Chevron, which was an amazing moment. I won't lie, that was a great moment. But then what happens? Then Maurice and 2 of the others, I believe it wouldn't be Barry, it wasn't Jester either. It would be Maurice, Shem, and maybe Lawrence? I can't remember. I believe it was Lawrence. Then they go up into the ship, the UFO type device with Code and Void, and they get stuck in there. And Maurice, even though he has this amazing ability, he's confined to this. And I guess you want to say it was kind of a way to nerf him, because you couldn't do anything, but still, he didn't do anything. And it was until Desmond saw them in the sky, and in one of Desmond's amazing moments, takes the entire place down, takes the entire ship down to the ground. And Desmond is an example of someone who gets amazing moments, because it's no surprise that after Zack, Desmond is BC's favorite character. And I mean, he's a member of the Beast Trio. I'd say it's evident that Shem, Desmond, and Zack are the 3 main favorite characters, and then there's Barry and whatever. But it as far as it looks, I can understand how people would say Maurice is BC's least favorite fisheye. Even counting Isaki and Lawrence, even counting them, they both get great moments in what we've seen. Lawrence got his triple combo with Shem and Barry, and then against Big Brain, I forget his name, sorry, forgive me. Put in the comments what his name was. And then the big-headed Brain character that Shem, when Void caught them. Put that in the comments for me, please. Thank you very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And then at the end, you see Maurice come back to form after he pretty much did nothing, but he was able to land safely after Desmond's attack. But does nothing, and then he goes to Shabonli, where he is with the Squilliam, who they see the noble, and Maurice attempts to take down the noble, doesn't. But you have to admit, this is a good moment for Maurice. I think, now here's where it comes in. I think that people think that Maurice is the least favorite fisheye because they don't give Maurice a lot of character development. But Maurice's character is a character that is supposed to be each of the fish eyes have a role to play with Zack. Barry is the problem solver with Zack. Shem's the one that keeps Zack level-headed. Desmond is the quote-unquote agent of Zack's chaos that helps him with that chaos, that matches Zack's energy. Jester's the one that amplifies Zack's energy. We don't know Zack, or not Zack, Isaki and Lawrence. It can be assumed that Isaki is more of a, not apprentice, but like a right hand, or Oswald is the right hand guard of Zack, self-proclaimed, and then Lawrence is also someone who matches Zack's need to explore, and Isaki is the one that matches Zack's, I want to say his drive, maybe, or is Zack's, I want to say like apprentice type character. But then Maurice is quote unquote at times Zack's foil. Maurice is the character that opposes Zack but still believes in Zack. For example, when Zack wishes to fight Oranjiki, Barry and Maurice are the ones to step up and say, let's think about this. Barry's more in fear, but Maurice is more at a thought of, maybe this isn't best, Zack. He is, in a way, I shouldn't say Zack's foil. I'd say, I'd predict that Zack's foil is Nicholas Swan, Captain Swan, Conquistador Swan of the Worst Generation. That's just a prediction, but anyway. I would say Maurice is not, obviously there's favorites, but I don't think there's any least favorites in the Fish Eyes from BC Productions. I just think Maurice is the character that hasn't got enough light of his own. For example, Jester's had his massive arc in Chamberlain. Oswald has his massive arc in Enies Lobby. Isaki and Lawrence had their, or I'd say Isaki had his massive arc in Mantine. Lawrence hasn't necessarily had his massive arc, but there's also predictions that the next arc is Fishman Island when they come back, and that's going to be a big arc for Isaki. And then there was Desmond hasn't had another arc, but he had his original arc, which was in all of the lovely dusk Fish Eyes. You can predict might have something later, but have already had their moment. And there's the ones that came in the Grand Line, which is Jester and Maurice. We've seen Jester have his moment on Mantine with Zeno, and he has an amazing moment in Chamberlain. Because think, Jester's initiating arc was when he was Randigigigi on Frost Icy, and then his arc was Chamberlain, which came nearly right after. Maurice had Newgate, then didn't have anything else. And I think all you need to do is be patient. I'm sure, these are a $1 billion company. These guys made Justice Assembled, Kakashi Chronicles. They know how to write a beautiful story. They haven't forgotten about Maurice. Maurice will be coming. Maurice will have his arc. Maurice has had disappointing things, and that's the Maurice problem, that Maurice is the same character that doesn't initiate or doesn't have a big story. That is the Maurice problem. But I think that it's not a Maurice problem, it's a be patient, just be patient, it'll come. Maurice will have his moment. He's had little moments, but post-time skip, I think Maurice is going to, he is potentially be one of the most mature on the crew. I'd say there's the Beast trio, and I'd say the mature trio is Maurice, Shem, and Barry. Actually, some may argue. I'd say there's the Beast trio and the mature quartet, which is Oswald, Barry, Shem, and Maurice. But I'd say, actually, you know what? No, I think this is the dynamic. Right now, I believe there's 9 members to the crew, or 8. I think there's 9. There's the Beast trio, which is Zack, Desmond, and Shem. But I'd say there's the action half of the crew, which is Zack, Jester, Desmond. I'd throw Maurice in there. And then there's the calm side, which is Barry, Shem, Actually, I put Lawrence on the action side, and then I'd say Isaki on the calm side. Shem, Barry, Isaki, and Oswald. I'd say that's the 9. And I think Maurice is kind of that character that is right in between of both sides. I think Maurice is supposed to be that character that is half action, will always step in when he needs to protect his crew and stand up for his crew, but he's also has a level-headed mind. So, in conclusion, Maurice, there is a problem with Maurice. There isn't enough validation and enough character moments and a character development in Maurice, but as a character, he's done what he needs to do so far. So now, from this point forward, I believe that BC is going to take Maurice and make him and there's going to be more coming up. I think the next arc is going to be Isaki's, then maybe Lawrence's arc, and then maybe we'll have Maurice's arc in between both arcs, or in both arcs, similar to how there was Chamberlain, where the main arc was Jester, the side arc was Barry. How in Anastar, the main arc was Shem, the side arc was, I guess the side arc was Barry in the Chamberlain. Or actually, no, I'd say the main arc in Chamberlain was Jester, the side arc was Barry. In Anastar, the main arc was Barry, the side arc was Shem. Or actually, I'd say Barry and Shem are equal. And then in Mantine, the main arc was Oswald, the side arc was Isaki / right after underneath that would be Lawrence. Or some may say the main arc was Oswald, the side arc was literally every single other fisheye. There was Gerard, there was Lawrence, there was Isaki. But there's just nothing for Maurice. So I think maybe Fishman Island, maybe we'll get a little bit of Razorback, maybe main arc Isaki, side arc Razorback. And then next, maybe main arc Maurice, side arc Lawrence, main arc Lawrence, side arc Maurice. That's just my opinion. And in conclusion, I don't think Maurice is not the least favorite. There is no least favorite. Come on, guys. But it's just they're waiting for that right time. And when it comes, all the Maurice fans will be blown out of the water. But in conclusion, or in the end, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, remember to subscribe, like, hit that bell for when Redlands Jack posts another video. But this has been Redlands Jack. Check out my buddy, my buddy Blackness Barry Wynn. He posts good One Piece content as well. Go check him out. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.